What happens to patents, trademarks and designs after the Brexit? First of all, the Brexit is only really a problem for EU-wide patents, trademarks and designs. So in EU trademarks, community designs, designations in international registrations and Hague Designs. I have recently conducted an interview with two UK lawyers on this particular topic, the trademarks, patents and designs after a Brexit. And if you want to listen to the full interview, then go ahead and look for a link in the show notes below this video. You can listen to the entire 30-minute interview if you wanted to. Let's start with the most unproblematic one, so patents. Since there is no real EU-wide patent protection, at least so far, there is not really a problem. There are plenty of countries member to the European Patent Convention that are not EU members, such as Switzerland, Norway, Iceland and so on, and Turkey. So for all these countries it's not a problem, so for the UK it will also not be a problem. The only thing is that currently there is a development to unify protection in Europe. So we will not see EU-wide patent protection for a while, that's my guess. As for EU trademarks, formerly known as community trademarks, they will not be valid in the UK after the Brexit actually happens. So far only the people voted to leave the EU, but the Brexit did not really happen so far. All the treaties have to be resolved, so I expect that to happen within the next 2 to 5 years. And after that, the EU trademarks will no longer be valid in the UK. So it is expected that the EU trademarks will remain valid in the UK for the next at least 2 years. Once the UK exits the EU, there will likely be transitional rules. And that will mean that you will likely be able to revalidate your EU trademarks to become UK national trademarks, and hopefully with preserving the time rank of your earlier trademark registration. So hopefully you don't lose your filing date while transferring your trademark rights to the UK. So there is no certainty about this. But my recommendation would be to wait until shortly before the UK really exits the EU. So let's say shortly before 2 years or something, or 2 or 3 years, whenever that really happens. And then see whether transitional rules are in place. And if not, then you might want to file national UK trademarks. But for now, I would say, that's my recommendation, to do basically nothing and see and wait and what happens. But on the other hand, if you want to be really cautious, then it might be an option to file UK national trademarks now, because you don't know whether you will lose your filing date while revalidating in the UK. And the later you file your national trademarks, the later time rank you have. So for the really cautious people in the world, it might be an option to file UK national trademarks now. A very similar situation is true for design protection. So EU-wide community designs will lose their effect once the UK really exits the EU. But there is one caveat. Designs have a novelty grace period of 1 year. So in general, if you file for design protection, it should be novel at the filing date. If the publication happened within the last 12 months and can be traced back to the owner of the design, then the design will still be found novel. That's the beauty of the grace period. If you filed for design protection in the EU, that means community designs or EU designations in the Hague Agreement, then you might want to consider filing for national design protection in the UK, because you cannot be sure that you will keep your filing date when revalidating your design in the UK. As for unregistered community designs, there will not be really a replacement. So if you want to rely on unregistered rights, you might want to consult UK attorneys and design attorneys to give you the best advice. They will not be replaced by any instrument in the UK. So please don't hesitate to contact me with any questions you might have. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel, like the video, leave your comments and questions below the video, and most importantly, protect your intellectual property and go make it count.